not be seen because I took myself out the street. What is the good word, everybody? This is your man's the one, and that is the man in the middle, Big Storm. And this is the state of basketball, a BW Sports One exclusive original podcast. All right, Big Storm, what's going on, man? We got some new shit happening this time.
Yeah, it's going well. Great week. Definitely excited about the topic today. More than excited to have the guests that we have on today to talk about the point guard position, especially being a guy that was for the most part relegated to the post and still had some of the playmaking. I would like to say some of just a smidge of the playmaking ability as point guard. So I'm definitely excited to talk about point guards.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that about playmaking as a characteristic of point guard, so to speak. Because I have a question for you later on in the show when it comes to playmaking from any position. But we got a fun show today. This is actually the start. This is the first episode of a new series that we're starting for the summer since basketball season is over with, so to speak. But this is the start of a summer series. We kind of put it together last week when we were talking about point guards on the show when it came to Steph Curry. So I figured out how about we just bring back our under the boards summer discussion series, and I think we're gonna break it down. We're gonna start with the point guard. So for the next 5 episodes, we're gonna break down each position. So we're gonna talk about greats in that position. We're going to talk about what we think the position is, how the position has evolved over time, and then we'll just have some fun with it. So tonight's episode 1, is the real point guards. That's the conversation. We're going to talk about point guards today. So Big Storm, we brought some guests along to hang out with us this show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was grateful to be able to get in touch with a couple people. They were graciously able to come on. So with no further ado, you want me to introduce them? You want them to introduce themselves? How you want to do this?
I'm just gonna put them in, man, because these
Let's
guys.
pull them in.
I mean, we just gonna pull them in because I mean, I guess we could give them a entrance.
Well, I
a
can give. I
WWE
can definitely do that because I look at this first guest, Greg Black, as one of the elders, right? Like I was always kind of that younger. I was 94, now I graduated 95, came into North Central 91. They are just getting finished doing their thing. I wasn't even playing for school at that point in time. I was just playing wherever. And these were the cats that we looked up to, or at least I looked up to. Definitely as far as a point guard, Gray Black is definitely up there. So I was definitely more than ecstatic that he was able to come on with us. The next guest, definitely played a lot of basketball with this guy. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We were just talking about it every day but Friday. Spot up, knockdown shooter. Definitely knows the game. A Sound Park representative. If we need to start doing like a top 10, top 50 Sound Park players, he'd definitely make the cut. Was there with the metal backboards down to the white backboards. Yeah, I'm bringing them in. And Mike Hayes, welcome to the show, fellas. Welcome to the show.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, glad to be here. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir. Appreciate it for sure.
There you go. One more because he over here looking like, y'all ain't gonna bring me in.
I didn't know he was in yet. So
You done let somebody else.
no, I didn't know he was on.
Yeah, he got his
He was
security. He
waiting.
good.
He was
He good.
waiting for him. All right. So the last guest we have, he's been on here before. He's definitely state of basketball, one of our favorite guests. He's actually younger than me, but he came up with us as well. He remembers those legendary Northview summer games that we had, pickup ball.
I forgot about
Legendary. He would say he was one of the best defenders of the point guards that are out there. Can't complain. Also loves a great University of Michigan. My man, D'Artagnan coach wide.
Oh, he just
Thank
gave
you.
him
Thank
the
you.
government.
Appreciate it. I'm glad I finally got my stuff working.
And there you go.
As he goes out. He was like, I just want the introduction and I'm out.
Thank y'all for having me. God bless you. Good night.
Man, what a great introduction to some awesome guys that I've been involved with on the basketball court and off the court over the years. Man, one, Greg Black, dude, man, you were a couple years older than I, but man, watching you play, watching you orchestrate a basketball game, man, was beautiful work. And I mean, and I say that when it comes from park basketball, because you don't get guys on the park that play that their game mimics. They're on the court or inside the referee game. Like when I watched you play, it was, hey man, this dude is going to get the ball to the right person at the right time every single time, and it was a joy to watch you play. And Mike, oh my God, dude,
Oh, man.
don't leave Hayes open in the corner. That's all I got to say.
I had to contribute somehow, man. I wasn't dunking like all y'all and D'ing people up. I mean, I did a little defense, but hey, I was doing the most. So I'm just trying to contribute. I was PJ Tucker before PJ Tucker.
Definitely, because you wasn't just going to score on Mike all easy as shit. I mean, Dart was just funny. He was just a younger guy. Was just funny. He was, because he hung around Sonny and all them crazy ass dudes. So. So it kind of made it hard to move.
I remember
yeah, fun out there.
Go ahead.
No, I said you gotta have fun while you out there.
Yeah, definitely. So we brought some minds together. You know what I mean? We brought some guys who played the point guard position. We got some guys who actually depended on the point guard position. So we wanted to talk about it a little bit. And what brought up this conversation, on our previous show, we were talking about Golden State and Steph Curry and where he ranks or puts himself with the point guards of all time. And I gave Storm a little information from a point guard who he despises. But I gave him a little information that Chris Paul had said, and it kind of sparked a conversation that really sparked this series. So what he said was, as great as Steph Curry is, I don't feel that you should rank him as one of the top point guards when he isn't really a playmaking point guard. He is a scoring point guard. I mean, but then like Storm, he was like, he went right to Curry as in defense, but then he had a little pause. Like, you got to sit back and think about it.
The pause is harder for him because he can do it. That was the first thing I said. Mm-hmm. He can make plays. That is definitely in his repertoire, his bag of tricks, his whatever. That's a part of it. But how do you be that player and be the greatest shooter of all time? Like, that balancing act must be unreal. To pass knowing that I can pull from the logo at any point in time and still get it done versus making passes and making plays and making the others better. So I still, like, it made me pause, but I still feel like he's the greatest because he's able to balance that. No one else can say they were the greatest shooter of all time at a point guard position where a part of it is making others better, controlling tempo, things of that nature.
So so we're gonna start this off. Mike Hayes, I'm gonna ask you, what is your personal definition of a point guard?
I mean, I'm old, so my old, what I've always thought is the basics of breaking down the defense, drawing defenders, make the extra passes, run the offense, so forth and so on. So for me, Steph, I mean, they really both do. If you ask me, they both kind of do the same thing. Chris Paul does a lot of scoring. Chances are, just like Phoenix the last, 2 years in a row, if Chris Paul didn't score, 25, 30 points a game, chances are their chances of winning was real slim. So, and then Steph at the same time, Chris Paul didn't draw the defenders that Steph drew. You know what I mean? Steph was still making the extra pass and the right pass, not to mention running off screens, bubble screen, everything you can think of, and still being a factor in the fourth quarter, as well as you can't leave him the whole game, period. You pretty much. So, I mean, my definition of a point guard is somebody that draws that attention, that draws that defense like that, where you can make that extra pass, where you get people who I won't say average players in the NBA, but when you get average players who have big games, big seasons, because they draw so much daggone attention, they're able to get rhythm every game because they know the ball's coming to him, and he does it unselfishly. You know, I mean, he doesn't hold the ball and force shots. He takes some bad ones every now and then, but at the same time, that's the difference right there.
Look like Dark. There he is. He's going in and out. I mean, I agree with you a little bit there, Mike. I say Chris Paul, he scores a lot of points, but he tends to score a lot of points out of necessity. You know what I mean? It's not like Chris Paul jumps on the court and I'm going to get me 20 and then I'm going to get me my 10 assists. I think his offense comes with how he gained, with why he gained. Now, last year, Devin was hurt. Malik wasn't putting the ball in like that. So he kind of had to. So I kind of agree with you on that a little bit and disagree at the same time. Steph is just in a whole nother category. I don't know if I really consider him a point guard or I just consider him just an everything. You know what I mean? But if he could dunk, he'd be everything. What's your definition of a point guard, Dark?
I'm more of a traditional Isaiah Thomas type guy. Getting the teeth of the defense, always making the right pass, getting everybody around them, making everybody around them better. Not necessarily having to be the leading scorer, but maybe the best player on the team, if that makes sense. And I think what gets lost with Steph's ability, no, never bark. Anyway, I think what gets lost in Steph's ability to shoot the ball is really the lack of his ability to defend. So that's kind of why I would make him the best point guard of all time, because when they're trying to put you in pick and rolls to create that disadvantage on a regular basis, it's kind of hard to make you the best when there are other guys that played your position on the other end of the floor that were much better than you at defense. And I'm not talking about the guys who lead the league in steals, because we all know Allen Iverson did that for 30 years and he ain't locking nobody up. Right. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the way, you know, when you went to go see Isaiah Thomas play, you knew Vernon Fleming was in for a tough night on both ends of the floor. You don't necessarily always get that with Steph, which is why I can't necessarily make him the best. Or Chris Paul. I'm like, you know, Pat Bear's been killing Chris Paul. Chris Paul must have stole Pat Bear's girl or something. But the way he's been killing him, the way he's been killing him on
Paul
TV.
George stuff.
Yeah, he called that man a cone, man. He said Chris Paul was a cone on defense. I mean, that's terrible.
Hey, I gotta push back a little bit on Steph for his stature. He's definitely gotten better. That final game, they did isolate on him, but they didn't score. I think he had 3 field goals scored on him. They isolated
him with Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart ain't been a scorer since high school. Now let's be cool.
Well, he did all right in college.
He got switched off with Tatum a few times. They kept trying to go get that little rub off screen or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Steph D gets talked about, but I definitely feel like he's much better than he has been in the past. So,
I mean, being much better on defense and being good at defense is two different things. Like, there's a lot of players that's gotten better on defense, but there still are liabilities on defense. And I mean, as great as Steph is, he is.
But a lot of that has to do
with defense.
A lot of that has to do with his height. It really is. A lot of that has to do with that. So that's things he can't control.
I disagree.
His height. It'd be different if they're isolating him on pick and roll and they're sending him to the block. They're isolating him on pick and roll on the wing or the top of the key. Like, I'm gonna square you up. I'm gonna go right by you.
And only 3 field goals on that championship
in that game. You're breaking his whole career down in one game, bro.
I'm not breaking his whole career down because I've openly said that he wasn't the best.
No.
So you don't remember me saying that he's gotten better?
But you're acting,
okay then. So that is his career.
You keep going back to this one game, like this one game that changed
I'm
his whole
sorry, it's the
scenario
last
on
game he
defense.
played. I'm sorry, it was the last game he played.
You
want
act
me to
like
go
that
back or you want
game
me to go
is his
off the last
defense
game
on
he played?
defense. So
The last game he played hella deep.
all right,
last
but he's
game
still
he
a liability on defense
Well,
in the point.
Well,
Well,
I
not that
watched
last
one
game.
one day.
It sure wasn't on that
He's
last
still a
game.
liability. Hey, great.
One-
Good job. Way to go, Steph
One
Curry.
day-
What games you play defense?
One day, Kevin Love played the last game and he locked Steph Curry up. Now
No,
Kevin
it
Love
wasn't
is
his
defender
last
player of the
game.
year.
That
No, I
was
said
his
one
last
time.
game.
I said one time Kevin Love played the last game and he locked Steph up. So now Kevin Love is the greatest defensive 6'10" man
I
ever.
never said that either. I never said he was the greatest. Yeah, now y'all
I
put
don't
words
know.
in my mouth. I'm
I don't
just
know.
saying he's better defensively
Yeah.
that y'all giving him credit for. That's it.
I think over the last 2 years, the last few years, I say he has gotten better. This year was probably and I won't say it was great, but I'll still say he definitely improved from what I saw. I'm not for Steph Curry, against Steph Curry, nothing like that. But at the same time, I believe that he did get a little bit better. Yeah, naturally, he got matched up on Tatum a couple times. Jaylen Brown a couple times, and I think that I won't say he even held his own because he pretty much got destroyed, but I also expect that. That's how I look at it. I expect that if you can isolate a player like Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown or these guys who are scorers who are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", whatever, and you can get them to take all that energy just backing him down or whatever, if I can let him score that too or whatever, and Steph's still going to come back and give me that, number one, give you that bucket, and then number two, again, he's still drawing so many open shots. So the trade-off, if you ask me, Golden State's going to take that every time. They're going to take that matchup. They're going to take that mismatch, whatever you want to call it, and take that every single time because Steph creates so much on the offensive end. So, I mean, 3-4 positives to that one negative, I'll live with that. And then you bring in the young boys to dog out, all these top scorers or whatever, drain them out a little bit. I think that's why they were successful in the first place.
I agree with you, but the whole issue was no one was saying Steph Curry was bad. No one was hating on him. We just said that that's not the strength of his game. So we're not going to sit here and act like that he's not a defensive liability. And we're just regular guys on the podcast saying this when there's guys who get paid $100,000 that are saying it. That's all it is. We're not saying that he is the worst defensive player ever. We're not saying he's the greatest, but we're just pointing out a flaw that is magnified. You know what I'm saying? That's all we're doing. Am I correct, Art?
That is correct. If you're going to say he's the best point guard ever, I mean, you kind of got to do it on both ends.
So you feel like the best point guard ever is the best defensive point guard?
No, he doesn't. No, that would be Gary Payton if we're talking about that. But he's not. I don't think Gary Payton is the best point guard ever either. I personally think Isaiah Thomas.
I'm just saying,
I think Isaiah Thomas.
How high does his defense have to be? How high does his defense have to be?
He has to be above a liability.
I don't think he is
to be the greatest.
Who?
But I don't think he's
the reason he's not a liability is because he may give up 25, but he has the capability of getting you 60. So yeah, like Hayes said, I give that up all day. I give that up all day. Like, yo, if I'm guarding, if I put Kyrie on Steph and Kyrie goes for 40, I know Steph can go give Kyrie 60.
I'm not tripping on damn defense either.
Right. I'm not tripping off that.
Defense is offense. I mean,
I'll give that up all day. If I got a kid who can give me 25 to 30 and give up 22, guess what? I win by 3. But I'm not going to tell you that you're the best point guard ever if you don't get it done on both ends of the floor to a serviceable
right, but that's what I need to know is where's that line? And you feel like he's below the line, obviously. I feel like he plays good enough defense to be considered one of the best.
He needs to have a 2.0 defensively. I need him to be able to be a not Prop 48. I need to be able to. He can't be a Prop 48 on defense.
I ain't heard that one in a minute. Oh, man, that's funny.
That's great. That is absolutely okay. But we're not going to sit here and just make this all about Steph. That was supposed to just open up the conversation of point guards. You know what I mean? Because there are a lot of great point guards, and the point that I think Dart's making is, and where we're trying to get with Storm is the line, right? The line. I say the line is where you are not either a liability or a sought out matchup. You know what I'm saying? On defense, as well as being an all everything on offense. You know what I mean? My definition of a point guard is being a guy who orchestrates the floor, orchestrates the team on the floor that the way the coach wants. You know, sometimes it is scoring. Sometimes it is getting the ball to the right person. You know what I mean? A terrible point guard is a guy who sees the person on the floor on his team that's hit 4 or 5 straight buckets, and you got to go get a shot off. You know what I mean? That's a point guard that I cannot play with. You know what I'm saying? And those are guys that I think that's the balance of me. You know what I mean? I see Chris Paul. No, I'm gonna take Chris Paul out. You know, I see Isaiah Thomas. I see John Stockton. I see Mark Jackson. I see BJ Armstrong. I see guys like that who will always get the ball to that hot man or always get to that matchup before they look for themselves. Sometimes I think CP3 is too much looking for himself. I know Steph Curry is looking for himself, but in that adverse, he still gets other people open. So I think he's like a new breed of point guard. I don't know if he's traditional.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I think things have changed quite a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go to as well.
Because I honestly feel like Kyrie as a point guard, truthfully, if he used his ability to get by people to really look for other people on the floor and really draw that defense and make that extra pass instead of dribbling, trying to dribble through 3 different people at a time, this dude would probably average 10 assists a game with ease. At least I feel like that. Now, I don't make me right, but I'm just saying something like that. But since the game has changed so much, you're looking at point guards, and when people say, because people make the same comparison between Kyrie and Steph. When Kyrie was hot and doing everything he was doing, well, Kyrie's better than Steph. Well, Kyrie's a lot more flashy than Steph for sure. But I also feel like in that regard, I'm still taking Steph. If I want to get a bucket, I'm going to take Kyrie. If I want to get a bucket and I want to run my offense, I'm probably going to take Steph.
And I feel like
if I want a clutch shot,
you're right.
I'm just saying.
I feel like the game has changed as well because you talk about John Stockton. They weren't doing pick and rolls, seeking out John Stockton, or he'll get taken to the cup too. Right. They were playing in the era where they were slow it up, pick and roll, give it to the big man down low. It was a different game. So some of this is just not. I mean, that's a part of is the evolution of the game.
I don't feel John Stockton was ever a liability on defense.
I was getting ready to say that John Stockton was not a liability on defense.
How do we know? I don't think Jordan was running pick and roll so he can line up against him. And I would say Jordan, but it don't even have to be Jordan. But they weren't doing that offensively, seeking out players in the way that they do it today. That's all I'm saying.
They put you on that island, it's over.
They don't do it the same. They don't do it like that. The offense is not ran like that in the 80s, 90s.
It's not, but I'm going to put an asterisk on that. Defense was taught back then. Defense ain't taught now. You play defense back then or you don't play. Nowadays, shit, if you can score 60 points, we don't care if you can't play defense.
Yeah, but if you John Stockton, you're still getting shot over every rep. You still getting shot over. You get a 6'6" guard, pull him over. He's shooting right over him, just like they do Steph.
I mean, if
just
that's
like they do.
You look at young players like
they did it with Isaiah. Same thing. If you put him on Isaiah, yeah, he'd be rough with you, but he's not blocking those shots.
And you wasn't scoring over the top of him either.
You don't have to. You don't have to block shots
to be effective.
You don't have to block shots. You just make
them
take
baskets, or at least make it tough. Marcus Smart was a defensive player of the year. You don't have to block shots.
You just gotta make it tough. You gotta make it tough.
Yeah. Because if you ask
Steph don't make it tough.
Somebody like LaMelo Ball, that's what is he? 6'9", 6'8"? Now, what is he, 20, 21 years old? You should have hella energy to hold for all 48 minutes. There's no reason why at that size, that height, with that wingspan, I ain't saying blocking shots, nothing like that, but it shouldn't be too many people shooting over you all night long. You should be a great defender. And I'm not talking about, you ain't necessarily even got to be just that top 10 in the league that year, but you should be averaging a couple blocks or so a game, even at the top spot of playing the point guard position.
Now, you're talking about the tall point guards, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying at that size, but he's listed as a point guard. So I look at it like from a standpoint, like, man, he should be out here. He should be doing a whole lot more defensively than he truly is from that. But also, I look at the way the league is set up now too. It's glorified with points scored more or less from a lot of these guys. Flashy, shoot the three now, so forth and so on. They ain't playing lockdown D. They got a specific person. Danny Green, PJ Tucker, all these guys gonna stay in the league forever, just because they can hit that corner shot. They can guard your best wing player, and that's it.
What they call him, a 3 and D.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
All you got to do is just hit it enough. You know what I mean? All you right now, because I agree with you, Mike. All you need right now is one or two decent defender, one good defender, one decent defender, and you can pretty much, get away with it because you got 4 guys on the team that can put up 40 points. You know what I mean? Durant don't play defense. You know what I mean? He's gotten better as Steph. He's gotten better, but he still don't play no damn defense.
You want KD to get 40. You ain't really worried about him blocking shots. It's nice when he does, but it just ain't. It's not going to be a consistent thing.
But let's switch over to this height differential. You know what I'm saying? Is there more expected of a taller point guard than it is of a shorter point guard?
I feel like it should be.
I feel like the expectations are just maybe different. I feel like your Anthony Hardaway, your Penny Hardaways, the expectation was different because they were able to guard more. And even going back to Magic, jumping center as a point guard. There's the expectations. I feel like there's attributes on both. The shorter, smaller guys typically get more steals, off-ball steals, maybe even some on-ball steals. And with your taller ones, you're just definitely, affecting shots and being able to guard multiple positions. So,
I kind of think it's a liability for taller point guards. You know what I mean? Because you
think it's a liability?
I do. On the defensive end, you know what I mean? You would think that because of their lanky rangeness that they have an advantage, but it's not always that way. Most of the time they're point guards because of their offensive skill set. Say Ben Simmons, say Jalen Rose, say those type of taller point guards. But then when you flip it over on the defensive end, they don't have the foot speed or the squat ability to stay with your Iversons or your Steph Currys or those type of point guards that's darting in and out of defenses. You know what I'm saying? With your point guard, your lateral movement, your center of gravity is a little different. You know what I mean? So I think
I differ that on a healthy Ben Simmons, because I feel like he can guard anybody, truthfully, just because I feel like he makes up what he lacks in that what everybody else has in speed and quickness. He makes up in size, length, and not to mention, I just feel like he's a little gritty when it comes to being dealt defense.
I think his only thing is, I think his positive side is his defense.
When he's locked in, I'm just saying.
When he's locked in, he Ben can guard 1 through 5.
Yes, sir.
Without a problem. And back to the whole pick and roll thing, because that's what they do pretty much. You put him in pick and roll situations. He's not the liability. He's switching everything and making everything difficult. But as far as the taller point guards go, I think more is expected from them because they're taller. I mean, you guys are over 6'6". You know what it was like when y'all was coming up. People expected more out of y'all because y'all bigger than everybody. So it's like you need to go, and it's really Storm's favorite player's fault because Magic Johnson was so great. So they expect 6'9" point guards to get triple doubles. That's what you're supposed to do. You 6'9". How many times y'all heard it? Y'all 6'9". Y'all should dunk everything. If I was 6'9", I'd dunk everything.
If you was 6'9", you get fouled the shit out of it.
If you was 6'9", could you take 6 foot D'Artagnan jumping on your back like Brian had to in practice? Could you take that on a regular basis? No.
48 minutes.
So you're expected to do all those things. You're pretty much expected to dominate the game if you're a big guard, because you get different matchup problems. I mean, if you're a 6'6" guard who's quick, then the average 7-footer in the same pick and roll situation, you're gonna go blow by him. If they don't switch, if they go above the screen, you're shooting over the Steph Currys, the Marcus Smarts, the Chris Pauls of the world. So they expect more out of you. That's why that's the big issue with Ben Simmons not shooting the ball, because they expect him to give you 18 points. Well, nigga, Ben's not 18 points a game. So let's figure out what Ben does to make him effective on the court. So
let's take him and make him a small forward.
Too, and the bad part about Ben Simmons' situation is he was playing the point guard position. So therefore, you are creating no space on the court. They don't care if you shoot today, tomorrow, 10 shots, 30 shots. They are not worried about you beating them from the perimeter. So every time you drive to the bucket, somebody just looking to take a charge. They ain't worried about you making that extra pass or whatever, because at the end of the day, it's not going to happen. He's not doing that in the traditional sense like you would have thought he would. But then at the same time, when they were leaving him open, he still wasn't taking a shot. He was killing the whole offense, truthfully. Therefore, Joel Embiid, no space to work because you bring everybody with you. Ain't nobody spreading out. They just, hey, we're gonna make somebody else beat us. He's not gonna beat us. That's just point blank. Period.
And then it took your advantage out the game when it came down to crunch time. You know what I mean? The reason why it didn't hurt Shaq because he couldn't shoot free throws because he was so damn dominant. Yeah. They would keep you on the floor if he was that damn dominant, and he has the physical ability to do that. I don't know. I mean, I guess we should be questioning his mental capacity. You know what I mean? I'm like making fun of it, but maybe we should figure out why can't you? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe
it's not he can't. It's like, why won't you? Like he won't even do it.
They used to say shooting ain't nothing but confidence, right?
Why
he was shooting left-handed, he's shooting right-handed. He was trying everything.
I mean, but you was cash in the summer season. You know what I mean? You play with the same guys you play with during the league. You hit jump shots in the summer season. You look like you was working. You come out and just can't shoot shit. You know
it's all mental, man.
Don't even want to
shoot. It's a Kardashian Jenner curse.
It's 10% athleticism, 90% mental. Is that what they say, Dark?
So he's backwards.
That sounds good, but something's wrong with that guy. Something wrong with that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you put in the work too on a regular basis, you gotta gain some confidence somewhere down the road to take maybe 5 or 6 of those. Even develop somewhat of a push shot mid-range game. He did none of the above. If it wasn't rim to rim, off a steal, passing lane, something of that nature, it wasn't happening. Period. Danny Green standing there looking dumb because he wasn't getting no buckets.
Patrick Beverly has no problem letting that thing go and can't shoot shit.
Patrick Beverly one of them. Patrick Beverly one of them dudes. If I was coaching him, I'd be like, no. Every time he shot it, like
I don't even want him shooting layups, bro.
Man, I don't even want him to cross half court offensively. We'll play 4 on 5.
Just play defense. That's all we want.
You play defense, be a pest, get the crowd into it, and talk.
Get a flagrant once in a while, talk bad to the best player on the team, and just leave it. Just don't do nothing else.
That's all you gotta do, Pat Bev.
Let's look at this. Let's look at this angle from the definition of a point guard, right? So the point guard is supposed to be your playmaker, right? Or your initiator of offense. Okay. So where does that put people who play out of position then? Say a Draymond Green, say a Boris Diaw, say a Scottie Pippen. Those guys who actually initiate offense but aren't labeled point guards or bring the ball up the floor.
I think it's just a hybrid, just something that the game is getting to where there's going to be a player that can do multiple positions. And where there are multiple positions where they get ultimately placed at is where they're at, but it doesn't define necessarily who they are. And that's where we're getting to in the league, where it's just great players, right? It's just, are you a hooper? Are you a good player or not? And breaking away a little bit from that, you have to be, all right, you're a center, you have to do this. You're a power forward, you have to do this. You're a small forward, you have to do this, so on and so forth. So I feel like it's an evolution of the game.
Yeah, they're going to a more positionless basketball type situation. And I think that started again with, guys like Magic, guys like Penny Hardaway, like Jalen Rose, who you mentioned, bigger guys who can play multiple positions. Of course, it's tough for 6-foot guys like me to play multiple positions, but So there's still room in the league for guys like that. But for the most part, if you're 6'5", between 6'5", 6'9", you almost don't, or 6'10", because if you think about Kevin Durant, you almost don't have a position. So that's why Golden State can run their offense through Draymond Green at 6'6", because they know he's one of the smartest basketball players I've ever seen.
That's what I was going to say.
And so if you put him in situations, he's going to make the right play. And that's what makes Golden State so great, is actually the way they play basketball. They almost play basketball to throw back to when we were kids and how we learned how to play. Everybody touches it. I'm giving up a good shot because Steph's got a great shot, or there's a couple plays. Gary Payton was wide open in the corner. Yeah, I can shoot that, but Steph's right behind me. He's a little better at it. Let me get him the ball, and I'll go rebound. Gary Payton, that wouldn't have been a bad shot for Gary Payton. It's a better shot for Steph.
Shot for Steph, right?
So
I love Gary Payton.
That's
a bad shot for Gary Payton. Yeah, he hit it. It's a bad shot. Steph open, give him the ball.
Yeah, I think
I just said that.
I don't want Gary Payton anyway.
A lost part of the game too is that from older players and stuff like that, a good screen is just as good, man. It's just as valuable as an assist. It's the same thing. And now,
how about this? How about
the intangibles is what Scottie Pippen, the people you named, Draymond, that's what they do, things that that most coaches would love to see the rest of the team do, but you can only entrust in so many players that can get the rebound like that, start the break, know exactly what they already got a plan when they heading up the court in the first place. They looking the whole time, and notice all the plays Draymond makes, just basically offer rebounds, pushing the ball. Scottie was kind of one of your first, when they first started talking about point forwards and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, they always, that high basketball IQ, man, they always made those plays unselfishly, and the next thing you know, you look up, they got triple doubles and whatnot, and they know, and they didn't even really impact the game from a scoring standpoint.
What about I like to say what Golden State has as well is everyone knows their role. Mm-hmm. You don't get that all the time because you got players trying to come up. Say if that was another player on another team in the same situation as GP2 is going to take that shot. Versus, I know my role in this team. I know what I need to do this to be able to win a chip. And what I need to do is look for Steph. And a lot of players don't have that. Yeah. Or Clay.
Mm-hmm. Like Tyler Hero in Miami. He out here talking about, I want to start. You just won 6 Man of the Year and your team went to the Eastern Conference Finals. So now you want to start. You're playing starter minutes. You averaging 18 points a game. And now you want to start. You mad because you're not starting? Oh, Miami's probably about to get rid of that guy.
He about to be on the trade.
Get him on the trade block. He already knocking up strippers and shit.
He's bad for the culture.
Yeah, he done went Hollywood.
He's bad for the culture.
He done went Hollywood, kind of like Anthony Davis. He done went Hollywood on us. He ain't got the grit to him no more. He got pretty now. He want to wear sunglasses in interviews. And
I
don't wear sunglasses in interviews too.
I want to bring up some of the point guards that are like kind of honorable mention. Had they had more time, injuries, things like that, they could be considered. And one of the ones I want to talk about is Jason Williams, White Chocolate, and just the excitement and the factor of how he passed the ball was definitely at the time was like, for me, I was eating all that up. That was just like magic to me. So any thoughts on Jason Williams? Obviously not one of the best point guards, but definitely someone who left something in the NBA. Like he left
number one underrated point guard of all time.
Jason Williams?
Oh wow.
I don't know about that part, but
oh wow.
I think he was exciting to watch during that time. Sacramento, because if you look at the Jason Williams in Sacramento versus the one that showed up in Miami, totally different player.
No, he was done then.
He was more calm. He played.
He was more technique. It wasn't show a lot.
He did the basic fundamentals of a point guard.
But that's that Miami culture.
They put the clamps. It's the Miami culture. I think if he went somewhere else, Jason Williams was electrifying. He played enough defense that you really didn't talk about it, but then it was a different game, like Storm said. But he made the right pass as well as the flashy pass. And if you think about it, Jason Williams didn't miss the open shot. You know what I'm saying? Chris Webber flourished because of Jason Williams.
I
You know what I
was
mean?
gonna say he resurrected my favorite player's career. He
You
did.
know what I mean? Because Chris Webber was struggling coming out of Golden State.
Brad Miller won.
You know what I mean? I'm saying, if you really look at it, you know what I mean? He brought Vlade back to life a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would have known about Petrovic over in the corner. You know what I mean? Stojakovic over in the corner. Jason Williams was your prototype, you know, point guard that you wanted. You know what I mean? He made the open shot. He got everybody the ball, and he got everybody the ball and looked good doing it.
Now, you know, there was a lot of nights Adam had probably went home and was about to slit his wrist because of all them turnovers too, though. So,
hey, to make plays, you got to make turnovers. Steph Curry averages, what, 4 turnovers a game?
His assist-to-turnover ratio was almost trash, though, for a long time until he, you know what I mean? You got accustomed to seeing kind of like Steve Kerr with Steph when some of them shots he was taking, like, oh, my God. You just turn your head when you know he going to shoot it, but then it go in or whatever, or the pass gets there or whatever. You're like, oh, okay, well, C-Web got this layup or he got the dunk or whatever the case was. But, man, you know how many times, though, he had to fail in order to get how many turnovers he made in order to get to that right pass. Some of that stuff in the game was
Sacramento didn't get over the top until they traded him for Mike Bibby, a more ball control.
Let's be real. They never got over the top. Never got over the top.
I mean, they got to. I mean, they Game 7 Western Conference Finals. It's pretty good.
They were a better team.
They never got over the top because they didn't win. I'm sorry. I'm a guy. They were a good team.
They were a better team,
but you did win.
They're the best team. They're the best team to not win a championship.
They were a better team.
How about the best team not to reach a final? How about the best team not to reach?
I mean, there was 62-20. I'm not going to look. I'm a huge Revved fan. I'm not
team was wrong, bro. That Pacers team was wrong. The balance and the malice. They was wrong, bro.
Hey man, you can't rob a team in November of a championship. Stop it.
No, they were gonna win.
Okay,
you can say whatever, but they was gonna win. As long as no one got hurt, they was gonna win.
And
Ron took all his meds.
No, hey man,
it was before.
Win. It's before Thanksgiving, and hey man, it's not. Let's not. I know you're a Patriot fan. You went to Vern Fleming's camp and all that. I know.
No, I used to roast Vic at the Y.
I know. No, you was roasting his brother. Vern was.
I said Vic.
I know, but no. Hey man, Vern tells good stories. If you ever catch him drunk at the bar one night, I mean, he tells the best stories. But anyway, I don't know if that Pacers team would have won the championship. They may have. They were good. They were good.
Hey, Vern Fleming. Speaking of point guards,
Vern the veteran. Vern the veteran. He took one. Got his team knocked out by Shaq and everything.
Vern had never had a jump shot his whole career.
but
he ran that offense.
He ran that offense.
He was from New York too, so he finger rolled with the best of them.
I was a Mark Jackson fan.
Yeah,
I was too. But again, we talked about point guards that played zero defense. Mark Jackson was a great help defender, if you want to call it that. But he played zero defense. He was
Mark got cooked a lot.
And when he got older, he was running the offense from the post.
Yep.
Yeah, ass down.
What about
Mark let Tom Chambers run up his chest?
J Kidd, I don't think J Kidd is talked about enough, personally.
I don't either.
He's second all-time assists.
I think J Kidd, and you're talking about what, 6'5"?
What time is it?
Great defender, run the offense. Never really had much of a jump shot till later on. But I think J Kidd doesn't get talked about enough. I think when you talk about great point guards, I think you got to put him up there too with some of those other guys, and especially when you're talking about offense and defense. Yeah, I mean,
oh yeah.
You have to. I think you have to put him up there.
Hey, Jason Kidd was like what 6'3", 6'4",
6'5".
I got listed at 6'5".
6'5".
I watched him in college. In college too.
Jason Kidd was so nice at Cal. We couldn't shoot from anywhere outside the paint.
Lamar Murray.
Hey, but that 3M, what was it? The Jamal Mashburn, Jason Kidd, and who was the other one? Jackson, Jimmy Jackson. Well, them boys down there in Dallas, well, they could keep the ball with each other.
That was all cool until they got into a fighting over Tony Braxton. Then
Yeah, Tony Braxton.
What about the Frenchman, Tony Parker? Where is he at in all this?
And why don't we talk about him? He's got 4 rings.
I know,
Yeah.
man, but rings don't necessarily constitute great players.
And he's
Got a Finals MVP.
He's 19th, 19th all-time assist leader.
He's another one too that held his own. I mean, you can't really say nothing bad about him. I mean,
are you saying it was his greatness, if there is any greatness in this point guard, due to him or the system?
I think you had Tim Duncan.
No, I think you got to go with him. Because those international France teams were really good. Those were really they never won the gold medal. You got 12. I mean, you got 12 NBA players from America. No one's going to win a gold medal.
I say it's probably 70. I say it's probably 70-30. I say it's 70% Popovich, Tim Duncan, the system, Ginobili. I mean, you had a squad. I don't care what. At the end of the day, you had some really, really very good, fundamentally sound, unselfish dogs on the team. Really, they didn't talk crazy. They just played basketball. And then you had Popovich, who at that time was at the peak of his career. So I mean, for me, I mean, Tony Parker, same thing. Maybe he doesn't get enough love either. I think that people leave him out because he wasn't the flashy, you know what I mean, shooting the threes. He pretty much was right by you to the bucket.
He was a traditional point guard. You know what I mean? His thing is, I came in, I get everybody going. I get everything. I got Tim Duncan is his spots. I get the 1 year or the 2 years I played with David Robinson. I put him in his spots. You know what I'm saying? He got everybody the ball where it needed to be, but he also made the play where it needed to be made. Like you said, he'll blow by you. Tony Parker's going to get to the rim. You know what I'm saying? And he shot, 80+% from the free throw line, too. So
you couldn't foul him either.
You couldn't foul him. And he was going, I mean, he wasn't a very high turnover guy either. He was a very smart basketball player.
But back then, too, you also got to slow the ball down a little bit and play more on the block. Now you got it's pretty much every position past the 3 is stretch 4, stretch 5.
Everybody's stretched.
If you're 6'9", 6'10", you almost have to be able to at least spread the floor and shoot a 3 from time to time. That's why Aiden couldn't play. That's why when they took Aiden out, when Phoenix kept taking him out of the game, because he couldn't spread the floor like that. He was allowing everybody to sink. They just down there chilling out. Like, oh, he ain't shooting nothing outside this about 15 feet, so we ain't worried about him at all.
And he wasn't coming up on that screen and roll.
No, sir. And that's why Boston, that's why Al Horford got killed. They kept leaving him out there. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown wasn't taking the initiative to say, I'm guarding Steph.
Or at least help him out. You know, they just left him out there like Al goes on the best dribbler, the best shooter on the planet. You know what I mean? Just left him out there to try.
And he got hands. And he got handles. So it ain't like he's just guard his left hand. Nah, that ain't gonna work.
I heard that many times. Right, just stay on his right hand.
I'm like, come on, man. That was just unfair. Unfair.
But that's when y'all was talking about trade earlier. That's the trade-off too, though. You know what I mean? The same way that they leave Steph on that island with a Jason Tatum at 6'8" on the block or whatever is the same way. In turn, you putting somebody 6'10", 6'11" on Steph,
and plus some of the reason is you want to make them work. Obviously, Steph works anyway, always moving offensively.
That's
and to put him to play defense is also another reason why I feel they pulled him out there, is to make him work on defense to try to tire him even more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I just say Steph had help a little bit with Draymond.
As they all do.
Hey, everybody but Boston, because they sure didn't come help Al. They left his ass right out there, buddy.
That's the coach's fault. Somebody didn't.
Steph might not have all the help, but I mean, it was enough for people to think, okay, maybe Draymond's coming over here, maybe Looney's coming over here. They was not coming for nobody. They was turning around looking like, damn.
You look at how Golden State was set up, though. Look at how many defenders they used. You went from Gary Payton, who was a little bit smaller, but a lot stronger, very active, young, gonna run with you, picking you up at half court. And then you go to Kuminga, who's long, athletic, Then you switch on over to what's the other one? You got Otto Porter, who's always been a solid defender. I ain't saying he's stopping nobody, but he's a solid defender. He's 6'8", 6'9". I mean, that all that stuff matters. It ain't no more. You locking somebody down. Everybody's not Kawhi, and if you even look at Kawhi in the past years when he played, anyway, he went from being that lockdown guy to more of a scorer now. And you don't see him out there putting in the same effort on defense that you used to see.
All right, I got another name. Kevin Johnson. KJ.
Mayor?
He's 24th. 24th on the list all time. Ask Elijah one about it.
That's right.
Hey, Kevin Johnson was nice. I think the name that we need to really be talking about that I misspoke when I said Jason Williams. It should have been your boy who changed his name, Chris Jackson.
Oh,
you talking about
yeah. Boy, he was a killer.
Offensively, though. I think of him offensively, that scoring guard. But he didn't make the list. So he's not
a defender, though.
I don't really remember any of them.
I say he's a great scoring point guard. Great scorer.
He was nasty.
Yeah,
about
Nash. I see Uncle Mark mentioned Steve Nash.
Oh yeah, definitely. Nash is up there.
I
said Nash. I feel like Nash could have been, and I think we've talked about this, Dame. Nash could have been Steph, but he chose the playmaking route more than shooting. Because what was he like? 50, 90, 40?
Yeah, he was a 50, 40, 90 guy.
Yeah.
He was a 50, 40, 90 guy.
I can't say nothing about Nash. I'm still hot that he got MVP over Kobe that year. I'm not.
Or Shaq. It was over Shaq, I thought.
I thought it was Kobe.
Steve Nash got it 2 years in a row when Kobe should have. I still feel like Kobe should have got it, but I get it.
But Kobe got
kind of like Jokic right now. And B should have got that.
What about killer crossover Tim Hardaway? Senior, sorry.
Same thing.
I think he was more of a scoring guard.
He was 18th. He's 18th all-time assist leader.
Well, I mean, so you got Chris Mullins and Mitch Richmond. So.
Yeah, that ain't horrible. And he played in the league a while.
Yeah, I can see that. I respect that. I respect that for sure.
Yeah, there's a couple of them out there. What about
I just like calling them out.
But see, we can't even really think of a lot of point guards that really don't get names because of the stat line. Like stats weren't kept up to a certain point. You know what I'm saying? Like you got some of them old guys in black and white that were really good point guards. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Really good point guards, but you don't know about them because the stats. What we look at is numbers. We didn't have the game film to go back and damn, bro, did you see that pass Koozie just threw?
Right. And he was one of the originals of the fancy. He was one of the originals. He was one doing them behind the backs, them over the head passes.
You can look at rings and be like, okay, well, what's up with Derek? Well, what about Derek Fisher?
Hey man, don't do that. Derek Fisher.
I think he was a system point guard. I do. I feel like he's a system point guard.
100% system point guard.
And then I know everybody's thinking that Westbrook's career is over. I don't think his career is over. I just don't think.
I don't know who's gonna pay that money. Who's gonna pay that price tag?
He don't have a price tag no more. He opted out.
Did he?
Yeah,
he should have.
I did not know he opted out.
He should have. That wasn't the place for him, bro. Unless LeBron was willing to give up that basketball, bro. That is not gonna. It's never gonna be that. Why you think all the other point guards that came there did not flourish in that offense? Where they all go? They all went somewhere else.
Well, see, he's not a point guard for that offense, and I really don't think Russell Westbrook is. I don't think he's a point guard. I think he's a mix between a combo guard. You can't give him a shoot guard because he can't shoot. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really give him a point guard. Like, let's be honest, bro. Westbrook is a stat stuffer. Come on, bro. We know he looks for those stats. He's not looking to get the team involved in winning. Look at everywhere he's going. They don't win.
I can't say that. I don't know if
you can say everywhere he goes, they don't win.
So let me ask you this though. Now, and I'm not defending him or not defending him, but you telling me that Washington they didn't play better with Westbrook playing there?
Hey, that's
didn't
all Bradley Beal, bro. Let's not do that. That's all
What?
Bradley Beal. I mean,
Y'all
I'm
think-
sorry.
I was
Okay,
thinking,
I mean,
how
you
many
want to bring up
triple?
Washington.
No, I'm
Washington
not
was not a
knocking.
good team.
They're not.
Washington
But
was
what I'm
not a
saying
good
is,
team.
I'm not saying that they were playoff bound. They were going to go to the Eastern Conference. None of that kind of stuff. What I'm saying is, did they improve the year that Westbrook played there?
Okay, so they went
So the
from 9
question is
wins
this:
to 18
was it?
wins.
And he
Was
averaged
it?
a triple
I feel like
double.
it was despite
Stat
Westbrook.
chasing.
It wasn't
His
because of
triple doubles don't
Westbrook.
make him win.
So he did
His
the same
triple
thing.
doubles don't make them win. All he's doing is stat stuffing.
Look at the record before he came there, though. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that.
Did they make the playoffs?
I'm not
Did
saying
they
that
make the playoffs?
I'm not saying. Hear me out, Damon. I'm not saying that they were going to do anything major. What I'm saying is that they improved as a basketball team when he went there. Now,
Hey.
I'm not a fan or not a fan of Westbrook in any way. I think he's a great player. I just don't think LA was a good fit for him. To tag him and say it was more or less, I guess you would say, quote unquote, his fault. I don't believe that. I believe that you have two players that demand the basketball. You can't. There's no way you're gonna coexist on the same team.
I didn't say it was his fault. The Lakers just sucked all the way around except for LeBron, who had the best numbers of his career at 37 years old. Everybody else in that team sucked. Not
See,
LeBron.
here we
I'm
go.
not his fan.
We're gonna have to say this for another time.
Not a fan. But if that's your scenario, it's bad because Chris Paul goes to Oklahoma City and they expect him to opt out. He stays in. They won 12 games. He gets them to the playoffs. That's what a point guard does. Russell Westbrook, he's not a winner, bro. It's everywhere he goes, they don't win because of his style of basketball. The players can't adjust to that. Reason why Harden left, reason why KD left. I mean, the track record is there. He's a nice guy, bad fashion sense.
Man,
You know what I mean?
we're gonna go back to this conversation. We're gonna have to go back to the conversation at a later date.
Great motor, but if you look at it, I don't want you on my team because you don't win. I don't need a stat stuffer. I need a person who go gets me victory.
The whole combination of it all was bad. Westbrook didn't fit that offense. Vogel didn't fit that offense.
Hey, Dark, you got any insight? I know you've been listening this whole time.
Yeah, I'm
these
trying
point guards we called out.
I don't know. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
All right, because I'm in the car now. But now, I think Damon's right. Westbrook is. I don't. He's a combo dude. I don't think I'd want him on my team. I know I wouldn't want him. I know I wouldn't want him on my team. But I mean, he's a stat sufferer. He ain't winning no games. He did all right in Washington, but it is what it is. I would like to double back to your Kevin Johnson point. Kevin Johnson should be higher than number 24. He was a problem.
Yeah. I'm just saying he was 24 in all-time assist leaders.
Yeah, I know.
Just to give him that.
Kevin Johnson was a problem. Speaking of Kevin Johnson, y'all know he used to play in Cleveland, but he couldn't play in front of Mark Price, who doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
Mark Price was that dude before he started tearing up his knees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mark Price was nice.
Mark Price was real nice.
You talk about injuries. Let's go back to Ron Harper. You know what I mean?
Ron Harper.
Ron Harper was a two before he got to play that point guard position in Chicago.
Hey,
how about Darren Williams? Used to play in Utah. Darren Williams he's like 22. He's 22.
Score first, but D. Will was cool.
He was nice in Illinois. He was nice in Illinois.
He was real nice in Illinois.
He fell off a cliff though. He went from like 20 and 10
to
like 6-2.
Yeah,
he was like good, then he was bad.
Yeah, he wasn't like on steroids or something. Like he must have been using steroids because he went from great to.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. Because you know he's from Chicago, right? He started putting that dye in his hair, son.
Like Boozer.
No.
I think he was in. I don't think he was healthy, and he had some other stuff going on too. But I don't know.
He was a little chunky.
I was a little disappointed because when he went to Brooklyn? When he went to Brooklyn, he went straight down here.
Yeah, that's what he should have never left Utah. Couple more, just throwing them out there, and these are 13, 14, 15 assist leaders. You got Rod Strickland, Rondo, Mo Cheeks, Andre Miller, just honorable mentions. These are guys that had.
Mo Cheeks was my guy.
Rondo is so underrated as a point guard on the defensive end.
I agree.
Great defensive player.
He's a
great
coach. He's a
playmaker.
literal coach on the floor.
Yeah, he's gonna be successful on the sidelines when he comes off. I agree with that. The last guy you said, dog. Andre Miller, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miller was a problem.
It never extended his game past the free throw line.
Yeah.
Very high IQ. Very high IQ.
Never shot a 3-pointer.
What you guys think about Conley? Indy boy.
Man,
He's
you know
managed to keep himself a double-figure career at the point guard position.
Conley's been cool. I just wish he had a little bit more dog. That's all. I always wanted him to be a little bit more aggressive sometimes. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Conley.
He's a Lawrence North kid. Those guys are different. Ain't that right, Damon? You Lawrence Short, you Kiefer guys are different.
Yeah. Those keeper guys get championships, except for me.
I'm just saying, you guys a little different. I don't know, you guys.
I blame Ben Davis.
Yeah, Conley, I always liked his game because he was always solid. Assist to turnover ratio was always good. All the above his whole career, and then just all of a sudden, he got that bag, and
I mean, I don't think Conley is
kind of changed.
I just think he got older in the game, and his game didn't grow as much as his game didn't grow as much as the game. You know what I mean? Because he was he's still a knockdown shooter from the outside. Mm-hmm. It's just now he tends to be more distributor than the equal player. I think he was an equal player on offense.
He's gotten real passive, though. He's gotten real
passive.
Yeah.
But I think that might be more the fact that he plays with Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell is so aggressive. Like I think Donovan Mitchell
he's ball dominant too.
Yeah, he's one of them dudes who thinks he's as good as LeBron, but he's not. So he tries to do LeBron type stuff.
Yes, sir. I agree with that.
Because and so you'll watch him and he'll take a Steph Curry type shot. He's like, damn, why you not that good? Be cool.
Yeah, you gotta go see his true potential till he goes to a team that's like, if he ends up going to Miami or something like that. And if it's the same Donovan Mitchell there, they still don't have no chance of winning nothing.
I don't think he can play in Miami. You
have to play defense.
I don't even think it's the defense. I think it's a different type of attitude with Jimmy Butler, Spoelstra. And it's a different culture over there. I don't know if he can.
That's why Oladipo was not successful there. He thought it was going to be all beaches and suntans. Nah,
and singing tunes.
It's not.
He thought he could release his hot R&B album after.
You should have took that money when he was here and stayed here, man. And then
I don't know about that though. I don't know.
The Pacers had.
I don't know if his mind was right for that though. His mind was set. So why do you want somebody who don't want to be here?
I don't have nothing nice to say. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
He went to IU.
That's it. He went to IU.
He plays for the Pacers. There's no other. He wouldn't have to buy dinner in his life if he'd have signed that money here. Everybody, no matter how good he was, he's not worth $100 million in my opinion. But just the mere fact that he's essentially IU's last lottery pick, and everybody was riding his dick because he went to the Sweet 16 and all of that. He came home to the Pacers. He was in a dunk contest. He thought he was Black Panther. I'm sure all the IU fans would have bought his hot R&B album that's supposed to be coming out. So he should have stayed here.
He should have been in the IU bookstore, bro.
He should have stayed here.
I thought that was his. Yeah, I thought so too.
I don't know though.
The nucleus of that team was actually decent. It wasn't a scrub team. They was actually playing decent basketball though. And then all of a sudden,
I just feel like if he'd have stayed here, his mind really wasn't about being here. So he wouldn't have been the player that you guys think he would have been.
No, I don't think he'd have been. I think he still would have been a bum. But what I'm telling you, his quality.
Right. So why waste our money on a bum? That's why I'm like,
they've been doing it.
Don't act like the Pacers ain't been doing it. Don't act like they ain't been wasting money on
They've been doing it.
Hey, man.
Hey, so as we wrap up, Dame, I thought maybe boys can go around and just talk about some of the point guards that they've actually played with who they feel are their favorite point guards. They actually play with.
Oh. All right. So I guess we'll start with Hayes.
Man, like I said, y'all played on a different level than I did, man. So I got to know a lot of guys and where they played. I'll be honest, my guy from Tennessee. I mean, I know like Marlo is that guy for y'all, but Chicky, man, I'm telling you what, when I played with that dude, I just got better. I don't know what it was. As a grown man, I didn't know if I could get better. But when I played with him, it was just, man, he knew he could shoot, he could score, he could rebound. But for whatever reasons, his basketball IQ, when it came to playing with him, he talking to you the whole time. He coming up the floor. Hey, just come with me. And man, you know me, I like to shoot. So every time, everything was always in rhythm. The pass always felt good. I knew when the pass was coming. Just everything he did, I could read, and we was always on the same page, man. So he was a dog on defense. So for me, he always made stuff easier for me. People paid a lot of attention to him. So when he hit that free throw line and he dropped and that defense was sinking, boom, he always made that pass. No, I mean, like you could count on it. He made that pass in rhythm. It wasn't no lazy pass. No, it was in rhythm, and it was a good, crispy bucket. But that's my guy, Chicky Stevenson, man.
Who you got, Dart?
That I played with. I'm gonna go Big Storm. No, I was playing. It's only.
And there he goes.
Well,
he's back. He's back.
Yeah. So I'm going. Like I said, I'll go. Probably Dazzle.
Yes, I forgot about Dazzle.
Dazzle, my guy.
We used to call him Mittens.
That boy's man.
Dazzle was.
I mean, his hands were so big, and then and if he wasn't so bad, we probably had 2 state championships. But, he wanted to be mischievous. Not bad. You go get kicked out of school, but bad where you might.
Dazzle was wild though.
Like some Eddie House School on leaving.
Man, that whole little clique was off the chain, man.
Like do you really need to drop the stink bomb in gym class? Do you really need to do that? Yeah, they're not going to put you out, but now you can play.
I remember when Dazzle was a paper boy in the neighborhood, man.
So he's probably my favorite one. Who you got, B?
So for me, this is gonna be my eye of the storm, Dane. I got a lot of it is talent. A lot of it is them actually knowing me and being able to play off me, which was key back in those days. Because, like we said, big man really wasn't dropping dimes like I was at the time. But number one, it's got to be Royce. 1 and 1A is Royce and Pat Fleming. Then I got Marlo.
Yeah. I got some good ones.
I got Greg Black. I got Jay Price. I got Dazzle. I got Leland Perry, rest in peace, out of Pike.
That's another good one.
When I was playing at Grayson, my second year in junior college, he was my point guard. And I'm gonna throw Dan Phillips out there. Dan wasn't horrible. Dan is honorable mention as a point guard, especially in his
Black's guy.
So those are my point guards, the ones that I will always rock with.
I mean, I'm gonna always rock with Royce because hell, we've been playing basketball together since we were 11 years old with Pacer wristbands up our arms. So yeah, he's gonna always be one of my favorites to play with. But I say Troy Moore, my point guard down in Paris, school I went to, left-handed, 6'4", jump out the gym. His daddy played for the Oilers. He's probably the best point guard that I played with. Now he's a trainer played overseas quite a few years. Now he's a trainer out in Atlanta and has like 25 NBA players on his staff. So he's out there getting it in. So I can't wait to get him on the show. But he might be probably the one. But I say a guard that you probably are not going to expect. I love playing with Shabaka Lance.
Man, I was just
going to say playing with Chewy, man.
Yes, sir.
Because Chewy granted, Storm is the best passer that I've ever played with. You know what I mean? He set so many people up. You know what I mean? He set so many people. But the best point guard that I play with has to be Chewy. Because that's his whole mind state. He didn't care if he scored. didn't give a rat's ass. He'd get you the ball when you needed
you up
to.
if you make him mad, though.
Yeah, don't get him mad because then he's gonna go at you. But
Yes, sir.
but he probably the best point guard I played with.
You know, I just thought of another one. What's my guy's name? Was that Shatard, Dame?
You talking about Montez?
Tez.
Tez.
I just saw
know
the
he
one.
good.
You know he's now head director of the Boys and Girls Club in Indiana.
No, I didn't
Didn't
know
know that.
Yeah,
I just saw the one too.
That was his passion right there. That's what he does. So
Who you got, Dart?
I got two. I got Jack Owens and Don Mallory.
Mallory went to Ben Davis, so I have nothing to say. He's a great.
I don't even know if I've ever played with.
He's a
Mallory.
great
I think I always
referee. How
played
about that?
against-
He's a
Well,
great
for the
referee,
right, for
David.
the right price.
He's a great referee.
Or for the right drink.
No, Don was good. Don was good. I didn't play a whole lot against him outside of high school, but we came out the same year. He was Ben Davis. I was LN. They were the reason why we were the number one team in the state, but they were the reason why we didn't go past regionals. But Don was decent as a little guy, as a little guy. He was decent.
I mean, he wasn't an all-star.
Yeah. So was Randy Zachary, but I mean,
I'm just saying,
but he was passing it. But look at who he was passing it to.
Yeah, he was passing it to a future Mr. Basketball.
Frierson and Big Boone and Courtney and I mean
Courtney wasn't there when I played the big day.
Courtney wasn't there when Don was there. Courtney came there next year because Sylvia Lane wouldn't let it.
Yeah,
Sylvia Lane wouldn't let Sylvia Lane wouldn't let Courtney come to North Central. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so let it go in.
I didn't know he even tried to come there.
Yeah, him and Ricky are tight.
Harris.
Yeah, so he was gonna come to North Central
because he had to replace Kitty Wright leaving.
Oh, it would have been great to have Courtney there. But Jack Owens too. Jack was nice too. So I played with those cats at Riverside.
That name was a long time.
It's been a minute. But yeah, man. Looks like we had a great hour and 10 minutes of point guard conversation. It's been great to keep Black's connection, but you got that old bougie Noblesville connection. Don't get to stay up. People. You know what I mean? So but it was great to see Greg on, man. I would like to get him to talk a little bit, get him on there and talk more. We'll get him back on to get his thoughts on some basketball. He's a great mind. And if you hadn't know, he's got his health issues, but he's still fighting with us. So make sure you guys send out your good prayers and love for G Black.
I didn't know that, man. I've been out the loop for a long time, so I didn't know that. I definitely will do that, though.
Yeah. So, it was fun, man. I like it.
Definitely.
I had to get with y'all since all y'all Michigan fans over here. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to have to get with y'all football season. That's what we're going to have. Buckeyes and something else.
What was the score?
42-27. 42-27.
That was y'all Super Bowl. Don't even worry about it.
42-27.
Hey, you know what they say about the sun shining on the dog. Yeah.
That's what you did for me lately. At least we don't cheat.
Just know that we win. That's all I know.
Cheating.
We're all right.
Cheat. You didn't win last year.
42-27.
I gave y'all credit. I told Roy that we was gonna lose that game. I said as bad as I said that early in the season. I said we look bad. I said we look bad and inconsistent. Sure enough, that's what happened.
You didn't try to cheat. You didn't try to cheat that year.
I give credit. I ain't that something.
You haven't had no illegal boosters.
I give credit when it's due. I don't hate on nobody. A win is a win. We'll be back though, like always.
Hey, a guy asked me the other day. He said, "If OSU recruits your son and he signs, what are you gonna do?" I said, "I'm gonna be sitting there in the stands with a Michigan sweatshirt on."
I said the same thing.
I
said the same thing.
It sounds.
Conversation is officially over.
I might put a button on or something.
I'm gonna be like Barry Sanders' dad. Be like, "Hey, you ain't as good as Billy Sims because you ain't go to Oklahoma." so I tell my son, like, you ain't as good as Ron Woodson or Charles Woodson because you didn't go to Michigan.
Sounds good to me.
I'll be ready to holler at y'all during football season. Don't even worry about it.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be in touch.
I can't wait.
All right, so it's been fun hanging out with you guys, talking great point guards. As you know, this is the first of our series of positionless basketball. Next episode is going to be on the shooting guard. What is that label? What did I label that? Here's to the two. So that's what's coming up on our next episode. So from our guests, from Big Storm, me, Black and White Sports, State of Basketball, we'll holla.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Welcome back
now.
anytime.
Anytime.
How was it, Hayes?